Hi and welcome to Bayloric Worldwide Television's boxing special, Golovkin versus Danny Jacobs. First of all, don't forget to rate, subscribe and leave your comments. I've never been of the belief that any fighter is invincible. Every fighter who continues to fight and doesn't retire undefeated will eventually meet that person that will be their match and potentially can beat them. So, with regards to this fight with Gennady Golovkin versus Danny Jacobs, Danny Jacobs has been dismissed as a guy that has got no chin. And you can fall into that and believe that based off the Pirog fight. But let me tell you something now. Dmitry Pirog, in my opinion, is a better fighter than Gennady Golovkin. He does everything Golovkin does, but he actually moves his head, has got better upper body movement, and can punch just as hard as Golovkin. And that punch knocked out Danny Jacobs would have knocked out most of the middleweights in the world. So Pirog knocks guys out just like Golovkin knocks guys out. So to say that Danny Jacobs has got a weak chin, he's been in the chin before, he's been dropped, he's got up. Okay, so the shot that Pirog hit Jacobs with was a huge punch. And let's remember, at the time Jacobs was 23 years old, and this is before, we know Jacobs suffered with cancer, came back the miracle man, and has come back to be champion again. As for Gennady Golovkin, a lot of people will be on the hype train and tell me he's the greatest thing since sliced bread. He would have knocked up Marvin Hagler. He would have beaten Sugar Ray Robinson and Sugar Ray Leonard and Duran all on the same night. I'm not of the belief of that. I do believe that Gennady Golovkin is a very good fighter. Well, he's got a skill set of a very good fighter. To say he's a very good fighter, then he's got to fight very good fighters. His best win to date is against Kell Brook, a welterweight. That's what it is. Unbeaten Kell Brook. There's no suggestion to say he was the best welterweight in the world. He was among the best welterweights in the world. His fight against Porter was good. But then he never fought Keith Thurman and the rest of the welterweights that are around. So the ones that mattered anyway. So Gennady Golovkin's win against a guy that was 2 weight divisions below him. What does it say? It tells me this much, that before a fighter gets beat, there's always a blueprint. There's always a warning sign. There's always, in boxing, there's always a warning sign before a guy ends up getting beat or knocked out. Gennady Golovkin is a guy that does close the range down, does hit tremendously hard, does possess a great chin. But Gennady Golovkin does have his weaknesses. Gennady Golovkin, when he moves forward, does not move his head. Another thing Gennady Golovkin does, which not a lot of people are picking up on, is that when punches are being thrown back at him and he's been pushed onto the back foot, he doesn't respond. He takes the punches, he tucks up. Close when he's in close as well. He throws shots, he tucks up inside. These are things that a puncher, if you look at what Kell Brook did, and this is a welterweight, remember, hitting Gennady Golovkin with clean shots. So, and being able to push him onto the back foot and throw punches. This is a guy that wasn't even a bona fide middleweight doing that. So whereas people will glorify that win with Kell Brook, I think Kell Brook has shown the blueprints on how to beat Gennady Golovkin. One of the blueprints are, don't stay on the ropes. Gennady Golovkin is open to uppercuts, left hooks, and right hands. But you got to throw them. And you got to stand in the center of the ring, hold your form. You've got to stay in the center of the ring and get Gennady going backwards. Throw your shots, get your shots off. Look to counter Gennady. And don't move in straight lines. All very difficult things to do. But there's a guy in Danny Jacobs who has the ability to do this. Jacobs has got good footwork. He can move back and forth, side to side, lateral movement. He does punch very hard himself. has got excellent boxing ability. Of course, people will say the vulnerability will be his chin. I would say, well, if you're going to say that, then I will point out that Golovkin's vulnerabilities would be his lack of head movement, which makes him open to the big punches of someone like Danny Jacobs. Jacobs has got fast hands, good combination puncher, and if you notice the sort of punches Jacobs throws, he does throw shots, likes to throw the uppercuts, shots to the body, and straight through the middle. Much like Kell Brook, the way he puts his punches together. But Jacobs shows me as well, he's a bit more nastier than Kell Brook. He's got that sort of, dare I say, Nigel Benn about him, where he'll dig in and let shots go from all sorts of angles. And I think Gennady Golovkin's best chance is to do exactly what Pirog did to Jacobs, is not give him any room whatsoever, get on the inside and let punches go and close the range down Jacobs. If Gennady Golovkin decides to stay on the outside and box Jacobs, like the way he tried to fight Lemieux, Lemieux was another big puncher. He didn't go rushing in straight lines against Lemieux. He knew, get on the jab and box to neutralise Lemieux, who couldn't box. Now, in this fight, you've got Danny Jacobs, who can box, who has got a good jab, who can punch, and it will give you lateral movement. All the things that Lemieux couldn't give you. So, for me, this is Golovkin's biggest fight to date, his toughest test to date. Because you've got a genuine middleweight who can punch, who can box. And I'm not going to say that Jacobs has got a weak chin, but I'm not going to try and say he's got a chin like Golovkin. But again, who really has nailed Golovkin with the speed and power of someone like Jacobs? It's alright getting nailed by a guy like Curtis Stevens, who was scared to hit you, or David Lemieux, who didn't have the boxing ability to put it together. But when you've got a guy like Jacobs who can box and punch, and, you know, you've shown in your fight against Kell Brook vulnerabilities, it makes for a great fight. Now, based on the hype, or based on the momentum that Golovkin's got, I would expect him to beat Jacobs. However, I think Jacobs' defeat to Pirog was a blessing in disguise. I think that Pirog is a better fighter than boxer-puncher than Gennady Golovkin. So those people would say, well, Pirog flattened Jacobs. I also believe Pirog would have beaten Gennady Golovkin as well. So those are my thoughts. I think this is going to be a very interesting fight. I don't think it's a foregone conclusion. And here's this. Golovkin hit Kell Brook with his best shots, and that's a welterweight. Okay, a welterweight. Shevchenko, who fought Brook, hurt Brook more, or more significantly, than Gennady Golovkin did. Gennady Golovkin's extra weight and wore Kell Brook down. Plus, he had the injury to his eye. You know, so this is something that I think fight fans should pay attention to. Jacobs should look at the fight with Kell Brook and should be very he should be not excited, because nobody's excited to fight Gennady Golovkin, but he should be more aware. He should be pleased with what he sees, and he knows, unlike Pirog, who keeps his hands up and has got good upper body movement, Gennady Golovkin's not a puzzle. He's going to have to work out, because Gennady Golovkin's going to be there to be hit. The key point is, in this fight, is whether Jacobs can hurt Gennady Golovkin. If he can hurt Gennady Golovkin, game on. But if he can't hurt Gennady Golovkin, or he can't land significant punches early to put him on the back foot, then I'm afraid that this could be a fight for Gennady Golovkin to win inside 5 or 6 rounds, because Gennady will walk through Jacobs. But if Jacobs has got the power, and I suspect he does have the power, then you know, I think this could be in for a very, very interesting fight. What do you think about this fight? I'd like to hear your thoughts and opinions. Like I said, I think Gennady is a very good fighter. But again, to be a very good fighter. Based on his skill set, to be a very good fighter, you've got to fight very good fighters. And I think that Jacobs is the best middleweight he's faced Golovkin. So those are my thoughts. And for those people that say that Jacobs would be scared of Gennady Golovkin, this is a guy that's faced death. So if a man's faced death, it makes your mindset very different. If you face death and you look to death's door, it gives you a different mindset. So that's something that Jacobs could be a very dangerous man in this fight. So a wounded man and a hurt man, and is a dangerous man. So it's a great fight. I'm really looking forward to. Let me know what you think. I'm out of here.